Yo, before I get into this next clip, I just want to preface by saying vote for who you want to vote for, right? But when you stand and vote for Republicans in local elections, and as the poll numbers show, there are many people that are inclined to vote for Donald Trump in a primary, and there are many polls to show that fucking Donald Trump is beating Joe Biden in a national polls to become the next president. I don't want to. I mean, I do want to go down this rabbit hole. It's not a rabbit hole. But what I want to say is that, like, you could like Donald Trump and you could love Donald Trump. But when Donald Trump was president before, there were many people that was in his cabinet and in his administration that I could not fucking stand or like. I couldn't stand them. I couldn't like them. Didn't like John Kelly. Didn't like Rex Tillerman. I didn't like Bill Barr. I mean, a couple more people that what the fuck this dude? Jason Miller. I didn't like a lot of these people. Didn't like a lot. Still don't like them. I'm glad that they're gone. When you vote for Donald Trump or you support the right wing, you also invite the new people, the Marjorie Taylor Greens, the Lauren Boeberts. Matt Gaetz was there before Trump. I got it. A couple of these people's names that I'm saying were maybe there before him. Maybe there during his tenure. But when you vote for this side of the party in local or federal elections, you bring along these type of people. These type of people that don't represent, they represent the ideologue. They represent a certain mindset of American people that are just, Hillary Clinton said it and everybody went into a outrage. A bunch of deplorable ass motherfuckers, man. That like, whatever, man, whatever. You invite people like this lady right here, this old ass lady right here. No disrespect to the elders. I'm just describing who she is. This elderly lady right here who holds some kind of like lawmaking position in our fucking country. I ain't even watched this video. I know who she is. Mike Johnson, the new Speaker of the House, was having some kind of press conference, and they was all huddled up, shit. And this fucking lady was sitting over here on the right hand side of things, and they asked Mike Johnson a question, and all you hear is this lady saying, "Shut up, shut up." Right. So I'm gonna go into this video real quick, like. I'm gonna go into this video, man. This is who you bring along when you vote for Donald Trump. I seen that boy Covington get his ass whipped tonight or earlier today or whatever time it was. I'm up mad late early, but I seen that happen. Bitch ass Trump was in the crowd. Seen Covington getting his ass booed. Yeah, they up there doing UFC fights, and this motherfucker talking about Trump 2024 after he lost. Like, he lost the same way, not the same way, but he lost tonight, and he's supporting a motherfucker that's literally trying to overthrow our goddamn democracy. Like, Dana White, why you allow that shit? I understand it's just fighting, and you have a stance on it because the imagery, if you have Trump in your building, if you have this MAGA motherfucker fighting in your ring, you have to support it. You have to support it to some degree. It's people that love this shit. They love fighting, and they love the idea that Donald Trump could get another term in office. As tragic as he was before, as tragic as he is now, post-presidency, you're going to support that, Dana White? Disgusting. But let's listen to this lady. Probably got to listen to an ad real quick. I'm going to skip through the ad as fast as I can, all right?
After not pooping for 3 days, my mom was rushed to the hospital to have a log of poop surgically removed from her colon. So if you're constipated or bloated on a regular basis...
And we're foisting on children 1.5% milk, which doesn't have a very good taste to many of them, and excluding them from 3.5%.
It was one of the most bizarre House floor speeches this year.
We want people to be able to drink the kind of milk they want to drink.
Yes, the same lawmaker who yelled at a black reporter for asking about 2020 election interference has now moved on to dairy products and invoking Santa Claus.
Whole milk is the unsung hero of his Christmas journey. Protein helps build and repair Santa's muscles. Hoisting heavy sacks of gifts up and down the chimney is no easy task.
Speaking of tasks, the Republican-led House still has not resolved issues including aid to Ukraine and Israel, a potential default on the U.S. debt, and impeaching a president with no evidence. But North Carolina Republican Virginia Foxx is prioritizing the protection of whole milk in schools and invoking Old St. Nick.
Calcium is vital for strong bones. It is calcium that keeps Santa strong and sturdy as he dashes from rooftop to rooftop. And vitamin D is essential to a strong immune system. Santa absolutely needs one as he braves the cold, wintry night. You see, it's not just the magic of the season that helps Santa deliver presents worldwide. It's also the fortifying nutrients of whole milk.
What the f***? In the same House floor speech, Foxx also threw in some apparent racism. She mentioned Barack Obama's race while arguing that it was the Obama administration that changed health standards for milk in schools.
It was under our first African-American president in this country that this was designed this way, and the First Lady pushed through these rules and regulations to exclude whole milk.
So you are saying black people don't like whole milk?
We want only the most nutritional option for Santa. The nutrients in whole milk, like protein, calcium, and vitamin D, provide the fuel Santa needs to travel the whole globe in one night.
It is true that whole milk has calcium and vitamin D, but it's also true, based on all peer-reviewed science and data, that lower fat content milk is healthier for kids. After this point was presented by a Democratic lawmaker, the conservative Foxx countered by invoking the Bible, because of course she would.
I just like to tell my colleague something that I think will be easy to remember about why we're doing this. Scientists/experts designed the Titanic amateurs scientist experts built the Titanic, and amateurs built the Ark.
In other words, kids, drink whole milk in school because Noah's Ark survived a flood, but the Titanic could not get past an iceberg. Huh? Virginia Fox is clearly making a run for the title of nuttiest Republican in Congress. She often gets overlooked because of higher profile lunatics like Lauren Boebert of Colorado and Georgia's Marjorie Taylor Greene. Still, Fox has had her share of lunacy. The 80-year-old has embraced Republican legislation enabling state and local communities to ban books. She helped pass a bill in the Republican House that would make it easier for school districts to block materials involving sexual orientation and race. And yet Fox has repeatedly spoken out against the Biden administration for regulating gas stoves in the Green New Deal.
Their newest attempt to prop up this failed radical agenda involved the banning of gas cooking appliances that millions of American families rely on every day.
Actually, they are not being banned, they are being regulated.
Make no mistake, this harebrained scheme is about more government control. More control over the lives of Americans, more control over what we do, and ultimately how we think.
Says the lawmaker who seems fine with government banning certain books.
What's the next domino to fall? Mr. Speaker, if this were to happen, American families would be crushed by high electricity bills and costly appliances.
Yo. I got a gas stove in my house right now. Nobody's knocking on my door, coming to try to take my gas stove away from me. I understand going forward, the newer gas stoves will have better regulations on them. Those regulations are going to lead to a little bit more safety in your home. Right? That's what's gonna happen. I grew up with gas stoves in my household. 1990s type shit. My uncle, and I hope he don't get mad that I mention this, but he understands, I think, with, you know, he was legally blind, and I was heating up something on a gas stove for my baby cousin, and my uncle, being legally blind, tried to check the time on the back of the fucking stove, didn't realize that the fire was going. I guess his shirt caught fire and he ended up on fire. I wish we had electric stoves back then. I wish we had the option of having an electric stove back in those times, because the amount of time that it took for him to look very closely at that little clock on the back of the stove, I don't think an electric stove would have caught his shirt on fire so fast. I don't think that would have happened. My uncle survived the shit, you know what I'm saying? He's doing his thing now. Salute to him. But the idea behind regulations, Donald Trump has deregulated shit in the transportation department that's ultimately led to, like, the derailing of trains here in the United States. And, you know, the current government has to deal with that fallout. Pete Buttigieg has to address the railroad systems and things of that nature. Donald Trump deregulated the what you call that shit, the grid, the grid, the electrical grid. And then Texas suffered so many catastrophic winters, people going without heat and water throughout their winter time, things that they never experienced before due to the deregulation of certain departments of Donald Trump. Are you fucking kidding me? You as an individual, you as a consumer, you as a participant in your own life and just going about your own business. You go to the store, you make a purchase for something, you buy your train ticket, you get on the fucking train. Are you responsible for making sure that the shit that you buying and the shit that you participate in is safe? You expect the safety to be there. You expect things to be safe because you're paying your hard-earned money to use those things. Right? Deregulation, it only leads to better profit margins for bigger companies and corporations. If there's no regulations, then the company or business has no real incentive to like ensure the safety of their products. They could just tell you some shit, sell you some shit, and you deal with the fallout. Cars have standards. Those standards were established by regulations. Brakes, your seat belts, the carbon emissions, those are all regulatory things that are mandated and mitigated to where we all as a whole can live safely. Traffic lights, stop signs, things of that nature is due to regulation. Like, get the fuck out of here. This motherfucking lady's up here talking about goddamn fucking whole milk. Yo, go drink your fucking whole milk. It's on every fucking dairy aisle, milk aisle, in every fucking grocery store. It's there. Go drink your fucking milk. And I understand the theme and getting close to Christmas. This motherfucker's up there on a goddamn house floor talking about Santa. Like whoever elected her, y'all are paying y'all tax dollars. I'm probably paying some kind of money, tax dollars to this motherfucker. I don't want to hear her bullshit. But these are the type of people that we elect in the office that come with the Donald Trump train of circus clowns. Yeah. Let's finish this shit. I'm out after this.
This is in the name of climate activism. House Republicans have introduced the Save Our Gas Stoves Act and the Gas Stove Protection and Freedom Act to combat this madness.
Ah, yes. The Republicans stand for freedom, gas stoves, whole milk, heavy pollution factories. But if a woman wants reproductive freedoms or a teenager wants to read a book in the school library about the history of racism, well, forget about it.
Do that.
Anyway, Fox occasionally gets challenged in some House hearings. Given her committee chairmanship, she's obligated to go before the Rules Committee to explain or try and defend GOP legislation headed to the House floor. A few months ago, Fox testified about a GOP bill that would stop education spending on migrants. Democrat Jim McGovern of Massachusetts questioned Fox about Republican policies of putting undocumented immigrants in a bus or plane and sending them to cities and towns run by Democrats.
Of that happening on the part of the Biden
So you think this is okay?
They have envelopes with them, with papers to show them what to do.
Right. So I mean, I saw what happened to some of these. I learned about what happened. I mean, with the migrants who were dropped off in Massachusetts without any coordination or notice. I mean, luckily, our values are different than the values that are being on display.
Well, I read the other day that there's some people still in Martha's Vineyard and they're enjoying it very much.
Yeah, well,
they're working too illegally.
Yeah. I got to be honest with you. It is offensive to hear you talk in a manner in which you diminish the the worth of human beings.
I am not in any way diminishing the worth
I think
of
you are
any
when you're-
human
yeah.
being. Mr.
So let me ask you a
McDowell,
question.
I'm a very strong pro-life person.
If I said, no, we're going to lose, you would go home and do nothing because you said, oh, Charlie's going to lose. Here's my answer, is that it's wholly dependent on what we do. It is
Then I did a
completely
video of
dependent on
fucking
how
Charlie
we act. What
Kirk
they
is
fear
joke.
is a...
Fuck
I
out of
believe
here.
in treating people with dignity from birth to natural death.
I've lost count of how many times over the years we've been in the Rules Committee when I've heard you come up here and say that, you know, the federal government should butt out of decisions involving schools. And yet here, you say that, you know, no, we're gonna not only insert ourselves, but we're gonna insert ourselves in a way where, let's say you are a public, you're an educational institution that receives any federal money, that we will basically terminate federal support. If you, for example, in this heat wave, were to open up an empty gymnasium where there's no students at school right now, so that people don't die from heat exposure to the heat, that somehow that they're going to be punished for that?
The taxpayers, that when you say the word federal money, you're talking about hardworking American taxpayers. You make it sound like it's manna from heaven. It's not fair to ask hardworking American taxpayers to pay to house illegal aliens. And that's what we're talking about.
And can you imagine the outrage if undocumented immigrants want to drink low-fat milk instead of whole milk? I have a feeling that Virginia Fox would say, those migrants are declaring war on Santa and haven't learned the lesson of the Titanic, or something like that. There is cuckoo, and then there is North Carolina Republican Virginia Fox. By the way, conservative news personality Megyn Kelly just spazzed out at Taylor Swift for attending a comedy show raising humanitarian aid for Gaza.
Attending this thing was wrong. It was wrong. Do some Googling. See what they do in Gaza to gays. See about women's rights in Gaza, Taylor.
Let's
Otherwise,
watch
do this
get to
when it
that.
comes to talking about those issues again.
Let's
You
get to
clearly know nothing.
Let's get to that.
And she owes Israelis and Jewish Americans an apology.
That is Megyn Kelly, who is neither Jewish American or Israeli, attacking Taylor Swift and calling for a boycott.
And I hope they boycott her events until she issues it.
Kelly, who is proving yet again to be an idiot with strong broadcast skills, is demanding an apology from Swift because the singer attended a comedy show that provided humanitarian relief to the people of Gaza.
Attending this thing was wrong. It was wrong. Do some Googling. See what they do in Gaza to gays. See about women's rights in Gaza, Taylor. Otherwise, do this when it comes to talking about those issues again. You clearly know nothing.
Megyn Kelly, the paragon of knowing things. Well, we will get to that in a moment. First, the Gaza fundraiser. Megyn, I used my Google to discover this. From Billboard, Swift attended stand-up comedian Rami Youssef's More Feelings tour stop in Brooklyn, New York over the weekend, along with Selena Gomez. Anya Taylor-Joy, Zoe Kravitz, and Cara Delevingne were also among the stars spotted in the audience. Profits from the event benefited American Near East Refugee Aid, ANERA, a non-governmental organization that provides humanitarian and development aid to the Gaza Strip. So Megyn, Taylor Swift was not a performer at the event, she simply attended. Going to a comedy show is not actively supporting Gaza, even if the comedian hosting the show does actively support Gaza. But perhaps that distinction is too complex for you, Megyn. Anyway, here's what my Google found about the organization that received the comedy show profits. American Nearest Refugee Aid, or ANERA, has no political or religious affiliation. Quote, we reach the Middle East's most vulnerable people with health, education, and economic development programs. In times of crisis, ANERA provides humanitarian and emergency relief. Question, how can ANERA ensure that donations serve their intended beneficiaries and not parties like Hamas? Answer, ANERA's policy is to supply assistance to only legitimate and capable institutions and to comply with U.S. laws. We filter individuals and agencies against computerized lists of terrorist organizations cited by the U.S. Treasury Department and its Office of Foreign Assets Control list. Because Hamas is designated as a terrorist group by the U.S. State Department, ANERA does not work or even coordinate with them. And by the way, Megan, the U.S. accounting firm Price Waterhouse audits Anera each year and has confirmed Anera does not work with Hamas. So, about that Google thing you were demanding Taylor Swift rely on, why didn't you, Megan, use Google? A few clicks and you would have discovered the truth. Anera is a credible humanitarian aid organization. It is delivering food and medicine to Gaza. How did you get that wrong? Oh, I forgot. You're not a journalist, Megan. You're just a Fox News has-been looking to somehow be relevant. Attacking Taylor Swift and doing it as stupidly as this, Megan, is not going to help you. And take it from me.
If you think that what he's saying is disrespectful to Megyn Kelly, I mean, I'm posting this shit because I don't think people watch the shit that I watch. But like, Megyn Kelly got fired from Fox News for basically like reporting, or not even reporting, how can I say, ousting Fox News for their wrongdoing behind the scenes. The sexual misconduct type things. Like, use your Google. I'm not watching shit. And that was years ago. Like, that was a couple years ago. Like, I've been on that. So when Mr. Schuster, pardon me if I get your name wrong, bro, but from Rebel HQ, right, as he's saying these things, what's going on in my mind is connecting the reality of what he's saying. As harsh as it may seem, Megyn Kelly is a failed Fox News, former fired Fox News pundit. If y'all don't know that, that's the grift. That's the grift. It's for these people to have been a part of an organization like Fox News, and for years to have passed, and over those years hope that they have new viewers, younger viewers in a new capacity that either don't know about their history or have forgotten about their history. A lot of people on OAN and Newsmax, former Fox employees, have been fired over sexual harassment allegations, mainly sexual harassment allegations. So egregious that even in the climate of Fox News, they had to let these people go. I guess it's because those allegations and those charges became so public that they say, yo, we gotta let them go. Like, the boss of Fox News, Roger Ailes, or whatever the fuck his name is, there's a movie about him and his sexual prowess in the workplace. There's a whole movie about it. I know movies are dramatic and, you know, edited for effect. I got it. But in reality, there's court cases and liability behind that. Look at goddamn Bill O'Reilly. Clowns, man. Clowns. I want to ask, you know, you got NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, and all of these different businesses. NDAs have been around for years and years, but now it's known to the public that NDAs exist, which actually diminish the power of an NDA, because if we all know that people are getting into these situations, but they have to sign those non-disclosure agreements, like, it's like shit ain't the same no more. Like, that shit don't hold its weight. The value is not the same. I got it legally. They still have to be upheld. But I want to ask Cameron, Killer Cam, my nigga. Just simply describe what it was like. I don't care about if somebody lived next door, I'm not snitching, right? I don't care about you mad or whatever. No, we all seen it. It was funny. It was real. I want to talk about what was it like leading up to your Fox News interview. What was happening in the green room per se? How did you get involved with this interview? What was the behind the scenes like on Fox News, bro? Cam is crazy. Cam is crazy, man. That nigga, that's a crazy motherfucker, bro, with money that know how to hustle and maneuver, man. God damn, man. God damn. But needless to say, let's get back to this video, man.
I don't speak for Jewish people or Israelis. Most Jewish people and Israelis actually support the humanity of Gaza's residents and are heartbroken over the suffering of innocent civilians. An aid organization like ANERA, which does not work with Hamas, is not a problem. Taylor Swift is not a problem. You, on the other hand, Megan, are a huge problem. It seems like you exist professionally to mislead your audience and stoke division and hatred. Well, if there's one thing that Jewish people and Muslims, Israelis and Palestinians would all agree on, it is that you, Megyn Kelly, are a moron. Seriously, targeting Taylor Swift for attending a humanitarian fundraiser at a comedy show? And by the way, for everybody who's unfamiliar with Taylor Swift, the pop culture icon recently received a major accolade.
The 2023 Time Person of the Year is Taylor Swift.
Okay, Taylor Swift, and I think you have several covers. Yes, you do, and an interview with Taylor. Let's just get this out of the way, Sam, because the world is on fire right now, and this is Person of the Year, and it purports to say this is the most influential person or group of persons in the world this year. You picked Taylor. We know about her influence. How did you justify this decision?
Every year, we get the staff together. We debate the
Taylor Swift, man. Somebody recently said online, this is all online. We all connected now. Everything that happens online, But somebody recently said, like, it's crazy how back in the 90s, maybe the early 2000s, there was always a pop star or a song from another genre of music, that black people adopted to, and like an artist from that era that black people could fuck with, like we knew their songs, the Britney Spears, the NSYNCs, I don't Nickelbacks, I don't fucking know, like, there's always that. And they're saying that now, 2023, because it was just said like a couple weeks ago that, like, there's no pop singer or rock and roll star that, like, black people have, adapted to. I could agree to a certain degree. I like Shake It Off. I mean, that's an old song for you. I got it. A lot of your new stuff. If I hear your popular new stuff right now, I probably know it. I'm not here to talk about your music. Your music is your music, and the people that love it, they fucking love it. I'm here to talk about your opinion on politics and the state of affairs in the world. Therefore, I do appreciate you for that. No disrespect to your music, please. I just brought that up just to say the obvious. What I think is obvious. I'm one person sitting in my garage. It could be 100 black people down the street blasting your music and loving you. I'm not here for that. So please don't take this shit disrespectfully. I like you as a human fucking being, Taylor Swift. I like you as a human being. That's a fact. What you stand for, I hope that you continue to stand on it. I used to look at shit and say, damn, I seen Republicans flip on like their own people, like just say, I'm not fucking with this shit no more. I'm not fucking with the Republican side of things. I just seen a report basically showing that like this dude Fetterman from Pennsylvania, I believe. You know, this dude had a stroke. He's wearing hoodies, all this stuff. I just seen a report where they said that he said he wasn't a progressive. Fetterman, you beat out Dr. Oz. We supported Fetterman because Dr. Oz was an extreme right-wing candidate and a liar and a grifter and all of that. So the people voted for Fetterman to become their leader. I'm gonna just simply say it like that, because I don't know if he a governor or I don't know what the fuck he does, right? And that's, look, what people present to you in their present state is what they present to you. If they look like good people and they want your vote, then you have to look at their record. Fetterman, I don't know what his record was, but I never heard of him prior to him in that election cycle versus Dr. Oz. I don't know what he stood for. I just knew that what he was saying versus what Dr. Oz was saying was it was a better message, even though he just had a stroke and the right wing were talking about his cognitive state of mind and decline after the stroke. Like, fast forward to 2023, and this dude's up here saying he's not a fucking a progressive. In my opinion, it's okay if he's not a progressive, because allegedly I have a extreme view on what the left should look like. Allegedly, right? If he just fell back into a left-leaning position, okay. But if he sits up here and starts like promoting anti-abortion rights and anti-voting measures and regressive social issues, things of that nature, I believe that stroke should have been much worse. Like, fuck it. Man, fuck Dr. Oz. I'll never support Dr. Oz. Unless Dr. Oz was one of them people that was trying to get in a position, and maybe he would have flipped into a progressive. Maybe he had to go extreme right just to get nominated, and then he would have fell into some progressive issues. I don't fucking know, man. Dr. Oz was supported by Oprah. This is what makes it very dynamic, man, when it comes to voting, because these people are human being people with mad flaws and issues and their own fucking mind state, y'all. Like, come on, man. Come on. We see Kirsten Sinema and Joe Manchin up there posturing as left-leaning candidates and political figures, but in reality they vote and they stand against a lot of issues that the American people want to see. Like, I don't know who's gonna flip. I don't know who's not gonna flip, who's gonna stand on business. I don't fucking know. And that's the scary part about going into this next election cycle, man. Like, Joe Biden, currently the president, so he's a good example of, you know, hey, I came in saying X, Y, Z. He's literally done some of the things that he said on the trail. Like, he said that he was going to fucking turn the economy around and things of that nature. He pointed out how bad, you know, the other administration was when it came to policy and COVID, and, you know, he was going to address issues, social issues. You know, look, man, that's what he said. Many of them things he's actually doing. The economy is turned around. I promise y'all that when Donald Trump was in office, I was making a lot less money. My money I didn't feel as good as I feel right now looking into my bank account and into my savings. I had a good bank account, I had good savings then, but I feel better now. Not because of fucking Ming Bai is the president, but based off the moves that I make and how I move in this economy, I feel like my buying power is a little bit stronger these days than it was just a couple years ago, man. I'm gonna keep it a bean. Certain things I wouldn't have done, certain purchases I wouldn't have made, I wouldn't suggest in my household. Shit, now it's like, yo, go ahead and get that. Go ahead and get that. Go ahead and save that. Oh, you need that? Go get it. Let's get it. So it feels good. It feels good to be able to do something with your hard-earned money, man. It feels good, and I'm finally in a position where I can't do everything. I still can't ball out with the best of them or any of that shit. You know what I mean? But I'm doing okay. I'm not concerned that if I go, I mean, anyway. Back to the point, the original point. Taylor Swift, I don't know much about your music, and I do hope that you continue following your dreams and doing what you're passionate about, right? And if political influence is part of your passion, I think we share the same view there, and I hope that you don't change. Whether your music resonates with everybody or not, just understand that a lot of people that listen to music are not focused on politics, but it's the same vice versa. A lot of people that listen to politics and focus on politics are not necessarily concerned with your music. But I know that your music has an impact on, I'm just one person in my garage. You have an influence on millions of people. And if you could use your influence to upend this MAGA movement, this MAGA narrative, this Donald Trump shit, this right-wing bullshit. Keep doing your thing, Taylor Swift. For real, man. Much love, man. I'm out, man. We're gonna continue on with this video, because I said what I gotta say, and it's gonna be more triggering bullshit in this video, you feel me, that I'm gonna try not to respond to, because I'm already 45 minutes into this shit. You heard? But Taylor Swift, salute, yo. Peace.
Throughout the entire summer and fall, picking one person who represents the 8 billion people on the planet is no easy task. And certainly in a year when the world is divided, there's a lot of light and a lot of darkness. There are a number of different choices that could have represented 2023, but we picked a choice, someone who represents joy, someone who's bringing light to the world, someone who's taken her own story and made it big enough for everyone.
In recent years, the Taylor Swift story has included speaking out for women's rights, supporting Democratic policy causes, and encouraging more younger people to vote. Republicans hate that, so when Swift was named Time Person of the Year, a lot of conservatives went bonkers. Much of it was chronicled by the must-watch Ben Meiselas of the Midas Touch Network.
Donald Trump and MAGA are absolutely obsessed with their hatred of Taylor Swift. They keep picking fights with Taylor Swift and her boyfriend Travis Kelce. They are jealous, they are malicious, they are weird, and they are attacking someone who is now the Time Magazine Person of the Year. And you have MAGA Republicans like Charlie Kirk who write, what will break Kelce's heart first, the COVID shot or Taylor Swift? Travis Kelce promotes for Pfizer responsible vaccination, and that's one of the reasons they attack him and her as well. Here, Nick Adams, a MAGA Republican influencer. This is not parody. This is a real MAGA influencer who has major influence in today's Republican Party. Like what?
Instantly. DraftKings, you spoiling me now with these big payouts. Retired NFL smart guy Ryan Fitzpatrick. Break it down.
He goes, Travis Kelce kneeled for the national anthem. Travis Kelce is doing ads for Pfizer. Travis Kelce is doing ads for Bud Light. Taylor Swift hates America. Taylor Swift hates President Trump. Taylor Swift loves communism. Maybe Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift would be good together. This is the editor-in-chief of the Federalist right-wing MAGA Republican rag. He goes, Taylor Swift is dumb and her music sucks. Here's the guy, Sean Davis, saying that. And then the New York Post doing hit pieces on Travis Kelce. And here's the Federalist saying, Taylor Swift's popularity is a sign of societal decline.
The right-wing hatred of Taylor Swift is so nutty that top conservative influencers are now peddling claims that her success is a George Soros deep state psychological operation to get people to vote Democrat. There are even conservatives who have written that Taylor Swift is going to run the Biden presidential campaign. A common refrain in MAGA world is the sentiment expressed in this tweet from McLovin003. What the F has Taylor Swift done this year to deserve Person of the Year? There's only one Person of the Year, and it isn't the anti-America commie sympathizer, Taylor Swift. Trump 2024. Against all of this, Megyn Kelly decided to join in on the Taylor Swift bashing.
So Taylor Swift, I mean, literally just voted Time's Person of the Year. I think the most popular celebrity in America right now, the number one movie, you can go down the list of her accomplishments this past year alone, decides it would be a great idea to go to a fundraiser for Gaza.
Megyn, were you seriously outraged by this, or did you just pretend to be angry at Taylor Swift in order to attract conservatives to your podcast? Either way, it is pathetic and embarrassing. But that is Megyn Kelly's MO. After an unremarkable career at Fox News, where she was credited with essentially breaking nothing and doing 0 award-winning stories, Kelly joined NBC News. One of her first interviews as host of the third hour of the Today Show was with conspiracy theorist Alex Jones. Kelly gave him the Today Show platform despite Jones claiming the St. Hook school massacre had been staged. 13 months later, Kelly got into even bigger trouble. She said it was okay to dress up in blackface as long as you do it for Halloween or as part of some character. 3 days later, Kelly's show on NBC was canceled. That was just over 6 years ago. Megyn Kelly was an uninformed blowhard back then and remains so now. The only surprise is that Kelly doesn't seem to be a fan of Taylor Swift. After all, Megyn Kelly should be able to relate to the lyrics from the song Anti-Hero. I have this thing where I get older but just never wiser. It's me high. I'm the problem, it's me. It's me high. Everybody agrees.
She owes Israelis and Jewish Americans an apology, and I hope they boycott her events until she issues it.
Megyn Kelly, uninformed, ignorant, and embarrassing. By the way, the nastiness from a Republican North Carolina congressman has now come back to bite her.
I call it Bill H.R. 5.
On the House floor, Fox just went silent.
Does the gentlewoman have a general leave request?
Check out that. Remember North Carolina Republican Virginia Fox? When a reporter asked Speaker Johnson about his efforts to block the 2020 election, Fox was emphatic.